travelling equally well as they began the descent here, but Master Reality was just able to eke out a bit of an advantage. Capri was already off the bridle at that stage. He didn't need a bit of traffic early in the straight, but he was out in the clear in loads of time for him to play a part if he was good enough. Not given a hard time in the closing stages by Ryan Moore, but just on the day, not quite good enough. Mustajir made a big move there, Kate, towards the inside. Looked as though briefly it might carry him to success. You can just see there a hint of the fact that he isn't the most straightforward, but he's got plenty of ability, and it's only late on that he gets worried out of it, really, isn't
Yeah, plenty of ability. Colin Keane's got a dream run up the whole way up the rail, and he, like, stepping back up in trip for him today, and Colin's given him a beautiful ride, waited with him the whole way down, and just until he got into the dip and then asked him for his question, and he only just got denied, and he's going to be one contesting all these, I'd say, staying races over here this year.
Twilight Payment not too far off the principals either, back in fourth. Whirling Dervish, not today for him, Kay. I'm sure you'd get him home, see how he is, and maybe regroup after this.
Yeah, a little bit disappointing with him there today, but we'll probably know more when we talk to Shane afterwards.
Master of Reality it is then, who was trained in France before joining Joseph O'Brien in the Melbourne Cup winning, multi-Melbourne Cup winning colours, of course, of Lloyd Williams, who has won here. The son of Frankel, and Joseph O'Brien has the last laugh this time, guys.
Does indeed, and enjoying every moment, and rightly so. The Vintage Crop Stakes, the winner on the day, the big race of the afternoon at Navan today, and the winner was 33 to 1. Mustajir 12 to 1 was second, and Southern France 2 to 1 at the off was third. Capri, the 5 to 4 favourite, was unplaced. Weatherby next for what is a very interesting race over a mile and 6. So handicap 4.25 the off. Rich Cummins is strong, 5 to 4. Lune du Trois at 7 to 2, 1 to go, 15 to 2. Debut Beach Boy at 8 to 1. Moon King out on the drift on the afternoon. Rafe Beckett among the winners at Salisbury, 9 to 1. Well funded 22s. It's 28s bar those. Rich Cummins for Mark Johnson, turf debut. Posted a third runner-up effort from just 3 runs in 2019, just 5 days ago at Lingfield. Those runs all 3 in handicap, since upped in trip, looks a thorough stayer, and on pedigree as well will like the step up in trip.
I think he will, yeah. Every horse in the lineup's trying a mile and 6 for the first time, but he's been a different proposition since he's been handicapped up in trip, as you mentioned. Second at Newcastle, Wolverhampton, Lingfield, beaten 3 parts of a length last time out. He's off 58, so he's effectively running off a Plater's mark. Longer trip ought to suit.
Lune du Trois made the seasonal return at Wolverhampton earlier this month. That was the handicap debut, up to a mile and a half, perhaps a little bit keen. The second from that race has come out and won since, and it's a couple of pounds lower, this horse, than the opening handicap mark.
Absolutely, and I like his run at Goodwood back end of September last year when he was fourth behind Pablo Escobar. The Olympian was second. He was only beaten 2 lengths. On that sort of performance, that would bring him bang into the equation off 68.
And you wouldn't, if you were supporting that horse, you wouldn't be disappointed to see Michael Bell having a very taking winner a few moments ago at Salisbury.
Eagles by day, yeah, he was very impressive. Yard had a winner yesterday at Ripon as well, so they're in good form. One in the first, nearly won as well. So, yeah, plenty going for him. If he replicated that Goodwood run over this longer trip, he'd be bang on the premises.
1 to go at the top end of the handicap, a 10-race maiden. New trip today, as it is for them all, on second start back of the year. Largely consistent without winning it too.
He had plenty of opportunities last season. He had 9 races. He was placed on 5 occasions. Didn't really fire on his reappearance. That was at Redcar earlier in the month. That was his first start since November. He needs to build on that. There was money around for him this morning.
Taboo Beach Boy, in the frame, went up to an extended mile 4 at Newcastle a month ago. That was in behind Rich Cummins, and closed well enough, given that it was a far from speedy start.
That's right, yeah, he's got about 2 1/4 lengths to find with Rich Cummins on that meeting at Newcastle. Again, he's improved, hasn't he, since his 2-year-old form and since he's gone up in trip. And he'd previously been second at Wolverhampton. Just mentioned Moon King, who I would have liked to see a bit of money for him. He's trained by Rafe Beckett, who's had a couple of winners in the last 24 hours. I think he'll relish a longer trip because he was staying on over a mile and a quarter as a 2-year-old last year. He's been gelded. You know, against 60, the handicap has given him every chance.
No headgear for the return. On the market, the strength is behind Rich Cummins, and you've made the case for the horse. The form has been there, the consistency. Stepping onto the turf, the pedigree would suggest that the mile and 6, and perhaps even a little bit further, wouldn't be an issue whatsoever. Of the I suppose the question being, which of these otherwise would you be most intrigued by stepping up in trip?
I think the best. Well, I think Moon King will definitely relish the longer trip. I just would like to see a bit of money for him. But I think the best piece of form on offer is undoubtedly Le Un d'Artois, the bell horse. If that Goodwood running, that is strong form. The Olympian, he went on to win at Newmarket next time out. Pablo Escobar's had some good entries this season. That form will be different league to anything else on offer.
Got the likes of Well Funded, who's coming out of 12, handicap debut of 55. Velvet Vista, who was, I think, 14 to 1 or so, first show last night, is back. It's bigger than that now, back onto the turf. Handicap debut of 54, up half a mile in trip. A few of these are obviously the majority taken out considerably out of what they know in terms of going, in terms of distance, I should say, and in terms of, well, they'll find their biting point a little bit later on in the race. It's a case of who takes it and who doesn't. Yeah,
absolutely. You know, some of these could be completely different propositions. Remember what we mentioned one to go there, Tim Easterby's horse. You know, it's a big step up in trip. He needs to improve for Redcar, but he may well do so, getting an extra half a mile.
So the full sister to You're Kidding. What a super mare she was for Mark Johnson a few years ago. She'd turn up to every big staying handicap, and invariably, wherever it was, York or Newmarket or wherever, would run her race, wouldn't she?
She did, yeah. She seemed to thrive on her race, and she got better the further she went, and the older she got as well.
Quick reflection, just while we're at it, on some of the performances we saw earlier. Fanny Logan leading home that John Gosden 1-2 in the 3:20. The market expected the winner. What did you make of the run of the second?
I thought it was really promising. In inference, Philly Bayentello, she gave chase on the winner, who we now found out why she was 1-4. She was very strong in the market. She travelled like a good horse, the winner. But there's definitely races to be found for the second.
Plenty of big price runners in here. The likes of Cinderella, coming out of 11 off since November, and then you've got Magrevio, new season, new trip, now gelded, new yard to boot, 0 from 3 as a 2-year-old, opening handicap mark of 65, and on pedigree, out of a dual 2-mile hurdle winner and a stayer on the flat. So the trip certainly wouldn't be too much of an issue. Bit of an unknown and not much money around, 50 to 1 or so on the day. We won't be too far away from getting to Sligo. We've got a couple of divisions of a handicap hurdle upcoming, still 3 races from there, and plenty of racing still to come from Wetherby. Any final thoughts on this, Mark?
No, looking forward to it. Just, hopefully some of these will leave their previous form behind now that stepping up in trip. Rich Cummings has got the recent form in the book. We'll see if he can translate that onto the turf here, but Le Un d'Artois is interesting. Moon King's definitely interesting as well.
Okay, mile and 6, longest race of the day, and here's Malcolm Tomlinson.
They're off. So they race over a mile and 6 furlongs for the DM Keith, Skoda, Seat and Honda handicap stakes. Good start towards the far side by Magrevio, who's one of the first to begin. Also taking a prominent sit is Rich Cummings as they head up towards us for the first time. Between those two horses, races 1 to go. And then towards the near side, Le Un d'Artois has got a good sit. Haley Turner wants a prominent position on that one. That's one swooping through for a share of the lead. So Magrevio towards the inside of 1 to go, then Le Un d'Artois 3 deep. Right behind those, Taboo Beach Boy, followed by Rich Cummings on the fence. Well funded centre pack in black and white, followed through by Moon King towards the inside. Our Boy Zeus just a little bit worse than centre pack. Followed through towards the back of the field by Cinderella, who's right at the back. New Expo just in front of him, and so too Velvet Vista towards the rear of the field. They're swinging left-handed through the first half mile, going back towards the final mile and 2 then, and it's Le Un d'Artois who's got through to lead by a length. To Magrevio racing second, 1.5 to Rich Cummings towards the inside of 1 to go in 2 shades of blue. 2 lengths behind that to Taboo Beach Boy in the red and white, who's next in the field, and then the black and white jacket next as they continue down the far side of Well Funded. Behind Well Funded, just a little bit worse than centre pack at this stage, is Moon King. That one is racing in company with Velvet Vista and Our Boy Zeus, who continues to race well back in the field. Cinderella continues to race towards the back, so too there's New Expo. So travelling right down the far side of the track, they're going back towards the final 7 furlongs. And it's Le Un d'Artois, the grey, towards the inside, dictating a steady pace by about a half length to Magrevio in the yellow with the brown crossbelts and a blue cap. Rich Cummings, the white with the black stars on the sleeves, towards the inside of 1 to go, who's next in the field. Behind those is Well Funded from Taboo Beach Boy, then New Expo trying to make some ground up centre field. Velvet Vista behind that one, followed through by Moon King, who continues to race well back in the pack. Our Boy Zeus continues towards the back, and Cinderella in the green jacket is still last as they leave the backstretch behind them and start swinging towards the home straight. Coming back inside the final 4.5 furlongs then, L'Un de Trois off the front by 3 parts of a length. Back in second is Magrevio. That's followed by One to Go going 3 deep. Rich Cummins right in the pocket behind the pace. Taboo Beach Boy is next, followed through by Well Funded as they quicken the pace back inside the final 3. L'Un de Trois still there. One to Go coming out of the pack towards the near side. Magrevio kept going. Rich Cummins going for a run up the inside rail, needs to pick up. Well Funded is next from Taboo Beach Boy. Cinderella from the backs trying to stay on, so too Moon King racing very deep, but inside the final 2 it's still L'Un de Trois. Well Funded kept going. One to Go is next, still coming very strongly. Moon King very deep for Josie Gordon. They come down towards the final furlong now, and Moon King is swept to the front and blasts away by 2 to 3 in short time. L'Un de Trois is next. Inside the final half they go. Moon King coming home hands and heels in the end. Moon King winning, he's down to L'Un de Trois in second. Well Funded for third. Taboo Beach Boy was fourth.
The first flight, Huayda is one of the early leaders. Towards the inside, Global Racing jumped up on the outer. Solar Heat made a mistake at that first flight. As they head into the bottom turn, the grey Huayda on the inside, with Global Racing up to be a close second, and they show about 4 lengths in front of Arazengo in third position as they make the turn to bring them on towards second flight. Blondes No More is towards the inside in fourth position. As they approach this flight before they turn into the straight, Huayda the inside shares the lead, coming away from it and approaching the turn into the straight, with Global Racing in blue and yellow up on the outside. A break to Arazengo. Blondes No More in pale blue and red is next, with Green and White Army next as they head up the straight for the first time. Huayda on the rail, Global Racing alongside. They jump it together ahead of Blondes No More with Arazengo, and they're followed up in front of the stands by Green and White Army. Over on the rail is Braca Lily. Behind them, the green and white hoops of Sky Punch. Solar Heat near side. Over on the rail is Don't Let Go. They're followed at this stage by Draycott Place. Outside Draycott Place, Illuminati with Epsilon Indy. Ballymadon is towards the outer. At the back of the field, Loop Guru the Grey is on the inside of Pump Road as they head downhill, having covered more than 6 furlongs.